When you talk Lonsdale Stirrup, when you talk Daily News, when you talk Daily News 2000, that is, and then when you talk the Willington, you know that that big race meeting at the beginning of July is definitely within sight. And we've got a small field for the Daily News 2000, which is a grade one. The only grade one on Saturday, but it is certainly worth looking forward to. Of course, the Willington now wait for age, as is the Lonsdale Stirrup. Without any delay, because we've got two very eager maestros to take us through this afternoon's card or tomorrow's card. That is, of course, our resident Durban analyst, Mr. Len Mayu. Len, very good morning to you. And we couldn't go without introducing you first. Your following continues to grow.
Good morning, Cecil. Good morning, Daryl. Yes, well, I think we'll go straight into it for
Yes,
tomorrow's
please.
meeting.
So that means we started race two, huh?
The start of race two, first leg of the bipot. Cecil, 8 of the 12 runners are making their debut in the opening leg of the bipot. So there's always that unknown factor. Of the racehorses, Vanarkum, the Highveld filly, she has the best credentials. You know, she ran second against some winners last time, although she was beaten by 6.5 lengths. So I'm going to include them both. The one golden operator from the Sean Terry stable. I'm going to include that one along with Vanarkum in the first leg of the bipot.
1 and 8 for Mr. Mayu, and with me in studio is a man whose form is, we hope, peaking at the very right time, and that is, of course, Daryl Marie. Daryl Marie, off a very good week yesterday. I had to be the fly in the ointment, but I mean, sometimes not every day is a diamond, but well done on your selections, and long may it continue.
Thank you, Cess. Good working with you again.
Thank you so much.
Opening leg of the bipod, I've chosen to bank number 8, Vanarkum. Now, she's obviously got the experience. She's had the benefits of 2 runs. She's got is the filly, so she gets that 6 allowance. I wouldn't say I have a bet because I have no idea if number 1's fancied or not. That's Golden Operator. The Dam won once over a mile. She was or is a half sister to Pomodoro. However, this is the comment from Mr. Terry in the front of the computer form, hoping for a nice run. So if there's money, race time for Golden Operator, I certainly respect him. But I think that second in the grade 3 Protea should be good enough to first finish in the top 2. So banker number 8.
Banker number 8, that is for Daryl Lenners, backed it up with the unknown quantity stable that has certainly hit their straps here on the Highveld, and they're peaking at the right time, as is always the case. Sean Terry stable, they've got the one Golden Operator. So that is an outlay of 72 Rand for Daryl's bipod, and of course Len has gone the 2 horses just to cover you in that first leg. That is the bipod off at 12:10. Starts with the running of race number 3 on a 10-race program. 12:45. We're at the Hollywood Bets Greyville. It's a back chatter maiden plate over the 1400 meters. A very short price favorite and world famous Silks of the Becks. And it is Sean Terry with an odds-on favorite in the form of the 6 Xenophone, who ran second first time out to a racehorse who was having a second outing and had shown enough on that first outing from the Lucky Udalaka stable to suggest that So Hard Throb would win next time out, and did just that. But Len, a bit more form to actually work with. You've got Run Forest Run, you've got Brew, I hope that's the right pronunciation, and the odds-on favorite. Here, is it banker or you're going to play the cautious route?
Cecil, I think for the place accumulator, I'm banking Xenophon. You know, it was a very good run first time out. Only went down 2.5 lengths, and he can certainly make good improvement. Run Forest Run made good improvement in his second run, and he'll love the step up in this trip, as will number 4 Brew, who stayed on well in the latter stages of his debut. But for PA purposes, I'm happy to bank the 6.
Right, Brew, 9 out of 9, first time at Greyville, and there it is. The 6 is the banker for Len. Brew is the 4. Andrew Fortune retains right after that good debut for Paul Lafferty, 9 out of 9 at Greyville. And it looks like there's potential there. Xenophon, let's talk about that.
Yeah, you know, Brew, Xenophon. Yeah, lovely debut. I actually watched that replay once again. He moved up, he actually challenged and he tied very late. I think that run would have brought him on in leaps and bounds. You know, he's a 3-year-old and his younger brother, the 2-year-old, is Dream World, who's won the Winter Nursery.
That's right.
So, yeah, I think he's got loads of scope for improvement. I'm happy bankering him in the opening leg of the PA. Have a look at number 2. I know he improved and he's only at his second start, but just behind him was number 5, the Golden Goal. So I'm skeptical over that form. And yeah, Brew can make improvement, but Intensity was the only one that had a run that day. So I don't know how good the second and third first timers are. So yes, Xenophon, I'll really be shocked if he doesn't finish in the top 3.
Two analysts agree that number 6, number 6 rather, Xenophon is the one to beat and should not miss that first 3. That's Sean Terry. Richard Fourie retains right after that encouraging debut. And the only other banker comes about in a race number 7, and that is the 7 in leg 5 of that PA. 324 Rand for Daryl's PA, and that starts at 12:45. All right, on to the handicaps now, and our first handicap of the afternoon is the Radisson Blue Durban Umhlanga Class 3. This is over the 1,800 meters. First leg off the pick sixes have been very well supported in recent times, and of course a man who knows a thing or two about catching pick sixes is to my right. We'll come to him shortly. But your overview of race number 4, very taken aback by that last run by Vernie King, Mr. Mayhew. And hopefully, if that run is repeated from a decent draw, could be one that has a say in the shake-up.
Yes, certainly, Cecil. He really does like the Grable circuit, and I'm sure he'll be right there at the finish. Look, there's quite a few runners that look to have winning chances, though, in this opening leg of the pick six. And I've kind of like a bit of a roughie here in the form of number 8, Q Wing. Now, I know he hasn't won in over 800 days. However, he seldom runs a bad race, and I feel that he is regaining his best form, and I think he'll be a big runner here, and he's at a very good price. So I would include him in exotic bets.
All right. And Mr. Marie, just to round off, I mean, anything else you can see? It is an open race, as Len suggests. Anything you would think, apart from the likes of World of our own, who has a big weight turnaround on that field marshal form with a lot of these guys?
I hope Len's not right, because I'll be exiting the first leg of a pick six. I've only gone with numbers 1, 3, 5, and 7. Number 1, Gentleman Joe. Last time out on the poly track. Now he's fit on the turf surface. You can see in his penultimate start he gave Lapulga 2 kgs. Of Vernie King, I think he was flattered last time out. They went very slow in that race, and he was up on the pace which assisted him. I'm skeptical, but it is a bit of a jockey strike. KG's Delight. Back on the turf, I'm of the opinion he was still in need of his penultimate start when he got the better of Shoot the Rabbit. So Rapids. So I really respect his chances. And Tobacconist, who I might be leaning towards. I thought over 1,400, he's still short of his optimum trip, and he came out sluggishly last time out. Lucky enough for Sean, he managed to get him in just behind the pace, but I think he quickened up beautifully over the 1,400. Now the 1,800 having his peak run, he's primed for this, and he only got £4. So 1, 3, 5, and 7 for me. But like Len says, it does get tricky, and you could possibly make a case for the entire field. Yeah.
Thank you so much. A couple of the Ordendale runners there. MJ Ordendale, that is numbers 3 and 7. A well struck bet there on the 7 tobacconist last time in from 20 to 1 into 11 to 2, and the odds were landed. 1,920 Rand is the outlay to that pick six. 20 past 1 is your time. First of our features, of course, a traditional feature on a Daily News 2000 Day is the Lonsdale Stirrup Cup. It's over the 2,400 meters, a grade 3 event. Field of 8, and of course, a few aspirants for the big one at the beginning of July. And we're talking of the Hollywood Bets July 2025. Future Swing, that last to run 6.30 lengths behind Salukwe. Can you mitigate that sort of run? Had won that event last time out in the WSB 1900.
I think if you watched him go down to the start, you would have seen he was terribly clean and pulling Richard's arms out. So I think in that race, Richard wanted to settle him straight away, and maybe he just got caught out of his ground. He's not going to be at his peak, but he certainly should come on with that run. Looking at the race, I think the pace is going to be with holding thumbs. Not happy with his last performance. Yeah. He was well beaten, and he was beaten turning for home. but he's better than than that. Blackberry Malt, obvious chance. Shoot the Rapids. Excuses last time out, and I think of this sort of trip, it's more his distance. I mean, we recall him running second in the Gold Cup over 3,200, so he's going to come on with that run. I actually fancy his chances, but even a horse like number 5, 20 drachmas, I don't think the 2850 and the 3,200 in the soft over a testing track like Turfentine Standside track suited him. Yeah, he's got 52. He's not going to be too far off them in a small field, and I think we're going to see a lot of improvement from him. So I'm going to be going as 2 and 5 as my top 2 in the race. However, you saw in my perms, I went the entire field.
All right, I think that is the 8 runners involved in that first leg of the first jackpot as far as Darrell is concerned. Now, Mr. Mayhew, do you have a narrow list, or do you think the wider the better?
No, I'm in full agreement with Darrell. I needed his help in this race because I couldn't find an outright winner. Really, it's a very open race, and I've elected to put 4 horses in the PA and the bipot here. So and the jackpot, it's a field barring the 6. So I hope I haven't
So
put
let's
the R's in.
let's not talk about bridging there, Len. We won't even mention that word. I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 8. That, of course, is the first leg, and that's where our feature segment begins. You've got to make a statement somewhere, and Len has made it into the third leg. 280 rand is the outlay. Off time 13:55. Yes, it is now Wait for Age. It is our second feature of the afternoon. This is a great 2 status, Toto Willington 2000. And looking at the field itself, nice blend of 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds plus. And again, some aspirants. We can confirm that My Soulmate was removed from that initial list of potential July contenders come the 5th of July. Len, we start with you. Beating Wings comes to the province in good heart, Olivia's way. Is just out of that top 20 as far as the log is concerned for the final field, but highly regarded by the connections. Beating Wings, part of your list. Mascarena, good to see this horse back on track. And Serena Moodley, well, what can we say? Came up to the Highveld after winning on Salukwe and is riding with a lot of confidence.
Yes, Cecil, again, a very, very open race, I feel. And there's quite a few runners that can win it. I was pretty impressed with little Susie's last run. She was staying on nicely, and I think this extra distance is going to suit her down to the ground. But in saying that, again, a few runners here. And again, 4 horses for the PA, and quite a number in the jackpot.
All right, 4 horses for the PA number in the jackpot. Mr. Marie, your thoughts? That thought the run by the 13 Gerber, or Gerber as they say, is one that has to be kept on the right side of, because there's a horse that comes out of that form line that we're going to touch on, which was labelled winner next time out. I think you know the one I'm talking about. But Baby's Delight won the race. Kabela Matsunyane gets a ride this afternoon. A draw over this sort of trip, is that a big concern for you?
It has to be a concern. It's, they're on the bend most of the way. Yeah. So hot, so what?
Pardon me?
So hot, so what?
Well, I didn't want to spoil it.
Yeah. Give Me Everything certainly did catch the eye in the Fillies Guineas. I mean, she quickened up from a long way back. In saying that, little Susie was just ahead of her. So they turned for her more or less in the same position, and there wasn't much separating them at the finishing line. So if you like one, you have to like the other one. And little Susie gets a kilogram better off. Now, in that race, funny enough, was a filly called Be Merry, and she beat both of them by 2 odd lengths. And have a look at number 1, Rainbow Lorikeet here. In her comeback effort over a distance short of her best, she gave Be Merry 8 kilograms. And I didn't think that race was run to suit her. She would have come on with that run. She's going to strip fitter. She's got the 1 draw. So I've got a lot of respect for number 1, Rainbow Lorikeet here. I have included Little Susie, Beating Wings. We know she ran 3rd in this race last year behind Silver Sanctuary. Richard knows her very well. Give Me Everything, eye-catching finish. Indian Ocean, if she can get handy, strictly at the weight, she's going to prove the one to beat. So I think I went with numbers 1, 4, 6, 9, and 11 in an exacta box.
All right, there it is, 1, 4, 6, 9, and 11. Suggested exacta box, an exciting Willington 2025 to look forward to. Off time is 14:32. We're going to be talking about the second jackpot shortly. Okay, so it is race 7, and so it happens. It is 7 runners for the big one on the afternoon, the 2025 Grade 1 Daily News 2000. There is an odds-on favorite. It is, of course, your Met winner, and that is saddle cloth number 7, 8 on 18. Right now, you're looking at around 15 to 20 or so. Richard Fury retains the right at that pipe opener in the Guineas when beaten by stable companion Sail the Seas. One of the top-rated horses on the log right now for the big one on the 5th of July. But there has been money for the Ferris 6, Mr. Mayhew, and that is number 4, Spumante Dolce. Quite a bit of interest. In fact, is now your second favorite at around 13 to 2. Has come back, and a nice comeback run after that disappointment in the Classic.
Yes, Cecil. Difficult to say how Spumante Dolce will go against a horse like 8 on 18. She's getting a 2.5 kilo pull in the weights, obviously sex allowance. But when you look at it, I mean, 8 on 18 is a Met winner. He was just touched off last time in the Guineas, and he'll be much more at home over this distance. So for me, he's a banker, and all bets. I really don't see Spumante Dolce beating him, but strange things happen in racing.
All right, so I've got to put you on the spot. I won't allow you to get away with it easy. What is your suggested exacta horse? Glenn?
I've got to respect the Haarveld visit to Confederate. He's a real good horse. Only thing is he's coming back after a bit of a rest. So exactas 7 from 3 and then box the 3 and the 4. I'd say.
Thank you so much. Mr. Murray, we know that Len is going to bank at a 7 on a slide that we're going to look at just now. As far as you're concerned, beyond 8 on 18, or is 8 on 18 your idea of the right one?
Yeah, I'm going to rubber stamp it. I think he's going to prove very, very hard to beat. Beaten by the pace last time out. Yeah. Cosmic Speed found himself in the front. Didn't want to be there. But you need to watch the replay and see what he was actually doing in the latter stages. Now he's going 2,000 meters. I know the filly gets 2.5 kgs and she's only 5 pounds out at the weights, but I'm a little bit skeptical about that filly's Guineas form. There were 10 horses crossing the line within 2.5 lengths of each other. They ran on the same day. Times say that 8 on 18 would have beaten her by 2.5 lengths or whatever the case may be. There is going to be a pace in this race. You've got the likes of Makazole in here. I think the best horse is going to win. So for me, straight line exacta, 7 from 4. But yes, very, very hard to beat if all goes well for number 7, 8 on 18.
All right, there it is, Robert stamping what we had already heard from our selector for the second jackpot. And that gets underway at 15 at 12 with the top liner of the afternoon, the Daily News 2000, due to run there. All right, so we're now into race number 8. This is the last chance to get involved in a Pick 3 on Saturday, as we record on a Friday morning for the Saturday show. Now, Saturday race meeting, rather. Mr. Marie has already let the cat out of the bag, so I say, so what? Tell us more about So Hot.
Yeah, I mean, she's a lovely filly. She hasn't put a hoof wrong at this stage of her career. I mean, 2 seconds in her last 2 starts, proving very consistent. She actually looked like the winner in last time out. It was her first run in the province. Interesting is that she is coming back in trip, and it is a trip that she's unbeaten over besides her debut. Yeah, I'll give her a chance. I have to believe that she's going to strip fitter, but she still needs a lot of luck from that tricky draw. Obviously, she's got Richard to assist her. Yeah, Bosom Buddy number 1. Now, he has a filly that herself is ultra consistent, and she's run some really nice races behind decent sorts. Mia Moo, Francine, Buffalo Storm Cody. In that race was Mount Pinatubo, who I rate very, very highly. So, in her favor...
Don't we know it?
In her favor, she's got Gavin from Stallgate number 1. So one can say she should get the run of the race. A filly that I found over here is number 7, Disting. Now, have a look at her comeback effort in the province. Cracking effort beyond my sensation in the Dennis Dreyer Poinsettia Stakes. In that race, she was out at the weights with a filly called Symphony of in White, who ran 3rd, and Roccapino, who ran 5th. She was sandwiched in between the two of them, and that's the reason why she did pick up a penalty. But then a week later, over a mile, might have been just too much for her. Now, coming back in trip, she's having a peak run. We will see improvement from number 7, Disting. A swinger box for me over here, 1, 7, and 10. And if 7 finishes in the top 3, we'll show profits.
Daryl did talk about that My Sensation form line. Mr. Mayhew, of course, the trainer of the 10 So Hot So What happens to have My Sensation in her barn as well. And so she'll have a line on the 7 Disting. But how do you see it? I see you, of course, we've already done away with a banker. This race, order of finish as far as you're concerned?
So look, I agree with Daryl. That my top 2 choices are the 1 and the 10, Soho So What and Bosom Buddy. I've opted to bank Soho So What in the place accumulator. She's got the awkward draw, which is a bit of a concern for me, the draw of 10. But she's only got 54.5. She's got Richard Fourie, so I would think that she would be in the first 3 in that. But definitely Bosom Buddy is the biggest danger.
Yes, indeed, and we wish them a very, very, very well indeed. The connections of Bosom Buddy, they're passionate about their racing. And of course, Paul has suddenly turned the corner once again with his string. 1, 7, and 10 suggests the stringer box for Daryl Marie. Gavin Lorino on the 1, the 10 ridden by Mr. Richard Fourie, and the 7 is Cole Taken. E-Editions, the Class 4 is race number 9, a benchmark that is 60 kgs equaling 80. And looking at the field itself, one of our bigger fields on the afternoon, and rightly so, a trappy contest, the 3 reserves, at the moment a surplus to requirement. Now, as far as the top ones in the betting, and I think the betting tells a story of what sort of a race we can expect. 4-1 the field was what I saw recently. That is Honor of Kings, the 8, and the 9, a Real War. And then not too far behind them, you had a 9-2 about the 3 Turbo Power, who seems to be running into form once again for the Terry stable. How are you taking this race, Len? What sort of bet would you suggest we have a go at?
Yeah, so it could be quite a tricky race. It depends on the well-being of Honor of Kings. His last run was below par, but he got involved in a bit of a skirmish shortly after the start, and I do think that affected his chances. His form prior to that was very decent and consistent. So I'm expecting a big run from him. Again, draw 8, a little bit of a question mark. So to me, it's either him or anything. My suggestion is roving him in a trifecta, and I've included numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9.
2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and a 9. We're going to have a look at that shortly. Mr. Marie, the 8, the Honor of Kings, is one of your co-favorites, Richard Fourie, for the first time ever, teaming up with Justin Slade, and of course those famous songs of the late Mr. Mitchell, now racing in the ownership of Nancy Ossack.
Yeah, I certainly believe that we haven't seen the best of him yet. Let's see how he goes. We've heard Mr. Snade say in the past some of his horses have missed work in the province, and he's one that's having his first start, so I don't know where he is in his well-being. But yes, likely race 3-year-old. Now, you saw in my pick 6 earlier, I had numbers 3, 4, 7, and 18. However, I do want to say to the viewers, if you're watching this on YouTube, if number 15 gets a run, I would have loved to have him in my perm and just follow card changes on the day. I think if this is on fire, makes the final field, I'd focus on him in a swinger box with numbers 3, 4, 7, and 8. Putalicious, I can see him running fresh over this course and distance. He's got a tendency to over race, and I think he could get run off his feet and be doing his best work late. So yeah, those are the 5 I like. Obviously, number 15 at this stage is a reserve.
So just give us your 5 numbers again, because we've got Len's selected or suggested trifecta box.
Three-
Rather, a float, the 8.
Yeah, he's got all of them in.
Yeah.
3, 4, 7, and 8.
Uh-huh.
And the 15, obviously, if it gets a run.
Thank you so much. And that is a suggestion from Len. A full unit will cost 226 Rand. Of course, the beauty of the tote, fractional betting is very much suggested and encouraged as well.